Welcome to the Whole Health Podcast, where we discuss science-backed information to help you optimize your health. I'm Jonathan Jarecki, and I'm a pre-med undergrad student passionate about health optimization and preventative medicine. My guest today is Grandmaster Adrian Simon Lowe. Master Lowe is the living lineage holder of LAMAS Qi Gong, of which he has been practicing for over 70 years. This has earned him the distinction of being the leading authority in this field of Qigong. He is the author of the Stress Elimination Handbook and has shared his wisdom on some of the world's largest stages. In 2000, Master Lowe was the only non-US citizen to be invited as a presenter and panelist to the first ever White House Commission on Complementary and Alternative Medical Policy. He has presented at universities, including the University of Colorado, where he brought forth the most people that have ever attended a seminar in the university's history. Apart from his many accomplishments, Master Lowe has been an integral part of my family and I's life. My mom was introduced to Master Lowe by John Galamaga, who was the first guest on the Whole Health Podcast. When she was pregnant with me, the doctor said that she would be at a high risk of pregnancy complications and defects in the child. Hearing this, my mom went to Master Lowe for regular monthly sessions where Master Lowe transmitted Qi and helped my mom cultivate Qi for herself. Despite what the doctors had to say, my mom had a perfect pregnancy with zero medical interventions and no support from the doctors, all while she was in her 40s. As we mentioned in the podcast, Master Lowe correctly predicted my gender, my weight, and the time that my mom would be in labor. There are countless more stories to be told, some of which are scattered throughout this episode. Before diving into it, I want to give thanks to all the years Master Lowe has spent helping others. He is truly one of a kind, and I'm forever grateful for the direct and indirect impact he has had on my life. Additionally, I've curated extensive show notes for everything you need to dive deep into the topics we discussed today. Please check them out and explore everything we discussed further. So, with that being said, I encourage you to listen with open ears and an open mind. Keep questioning the so-called experts and remain perceptive to different perspectives. Now, let's dive into our conversation with Grandmaster Adrian Simon Lowe. Grandmaster Lowe, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you ever so much, Mr. Jarecki.
Thank you. This is a really exciting podcast for me. Obviously, we have a long connection going back ever since before I was born, actually, and the audience I'll share with them in the intro of this podcast, so they'll have a little background about our connection and a little bit background about you. And so really, this is one of my most exciting podcasts, and I can't wait to share it with people. So, before we get into everything, I do want to hear a little bit about your story, right, and how you got to where you are today. I know you started doing Qigong when you were just 6 years old. So,
Yes,
if you could tell us your story, that'd be awesome.
Right, my ancestors from my father's end left China about 115, 116 years ago, and they took a boat, because at that time they were just boats, sailboats, and it took them approximately a year to leave from Guangzhou, which you call Hong Kong, and travel to South America, because they had found, I don't know how, because proper chartography was not in operation, but they found that there was this British colony in South America that had almost the identical shape of the area in China where my family came from. At that time it was called British Guyana because of British territory. Now we know it's just as Guyana. Misnomer, because the word Guyana means land of many waters. From the bottom of Brazil to the top of Canada, the whole thing really was one Guyana. But people change and times change. I was born in 1943, which is about 110, 112 years after my family left. So they left around 1841, 1840, something like that. 105, 110. There was no records, but verbally, this is what I was led to believe. My family was from a very violent tribe in China named LoLo. I read the history of LoLo, this family tribe. They're very small now, but they were big. And during the so-called Last World War, when the American troops went into China to liberate China, unfortunately they went to that area where the LoLo tribe was, and a lot of them, if not all, were killed. And these people only had bows and arrows, but they were a very vicious family. And unfortunately, I still have some of that aspects in my makeup. But that brings us to date. So I left Guyana when I was around 18 and moved to England. I've traveled all over the world, but I've spent all my life in England. Got a wife, been married for 60 odd years.
Amazing.
And I got one daughter. She's 55, son of 53, son of 51. And they're all over England. They don't live where I live or reside. Brings us up to date. I started practicing Qigong when I was just almost 6 years of age. It was a very arduous lesson to learn because it was based on some martial art techniques, and it is strange that you had to understand how an injury or sickness occurs before you can render or fight or participate in helping someone recover. So you had to endure very hard martial training, which I will take to my grave. All my shins have been destroyed because you had to learn not just a stance, but how to take pain and then how to redemify or offer remedial effects on yourself. Because if you can't do for yourself, you can't do for anyone. Mm-hmm. This went on for 12 years until I was 18. Then I left and I came to England. I've lived in England all the time, but I've traveled all over the world. I still maintain my Qigong practice right up to this moment, to this precise moment. I do my meditation, but it's not what you think. I'll explain briefly. Every single night between the hours of 1 and 3, each human being has a 2-hour period. Mine goes 1 to 3, somebody's 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 9, 9 to 11, however it goes on. So that's my period when I am drowsy, but very awake. And I do my meditation. It's not, first, I'm a Catholic. I'm a bad Catholic. I'm the best Christian you'll likely find. I'm a bad Catholic because I know what the papal, in ours, the Pope, and his, I don't like the word hirelings, I would say followers. They've done a lot of bad things. Mm-hmm. And now we found out that the other Christian religion in England, they've done a lot of bad things. But I will live and die a Catholic, a bad one, but still a Catholic. So I have a discomfort in my spiritual beliefs with against what I'm capable, or fool myself I'm capable of doing. But I've had 100% success in dealing with some very major, serious health complaints. I used to be a good martial artist, but at 82, your speed drops, your power drops, your intentions are still there, but sometimes the body cannot do. It's old. It's like an 82-year-old car cannot beat a brand new Mercedes. It ain't gonna happen. So I still do a lot. I write a lot. I've written a lot of stuff. So much, you know. I've spent the last 3 months condensing the data. So I produced a couple of books, but I want to produce one that will sell over the world and go over the world, spread over the world, and it's to do with stress. Because to me, stress is the nuance, the heart of all disease. Like you get kicked in the shins, it's under stress. It can develop cancer. You ate something wrong, the internal organs are under stress. So it's a stress that I work at a molecular level. And this might sound strange, might sound disbelievable, unbelievable, but I will demonstrate very, very quickly. Although you're not in front of me, I can see your image. Your heart has a fibrillation. I think it's because in your family, things were not what it should have been.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? A fibrillation means that sometimes you could miss a beat.
Yeah.
But to me, that's a symptom. That's not the cause. The cause is a feeling of loss. Not having to, not losing something, but losing an opportunity.
Mm.
So only you will know about that, but I'm telling you what I see. And you notice I didn't ask any question. I'm giving you the answers.
Yeah.
So basically, I still do my Qigong. I'm still fast, but that's nothing compared to where I used to be before. So most of my work, which I've stopped, I don't go to work anymore. One is I'm smart enough to realize as you get older, everything you do that doesn't promote your lifestyle and your life form and your life likelihoodness detracts. Getting on a plane and breathing the same air with 200 people in a metal shell for 9-10 hours, not good. So 2 years ago, I decided I'm not going back to America again. Brings us right up to date. I still do work with people. There's one big family in America, I know, the 20 odd members, and I work a lot with them on a remote basis. And that brings us at any questions you got, I'm prepared to answer. Any question.
Yeah, great. So I appreciate you sharing all that. We were definitely going to get into your book. I actually have it right here in front of me, and a bunch of other stuff. But I quickly just want to go back to your upbringing. So you said when you were 6, you started doing qigong, but that form of qigong you said it was more of a martial art, right?
Yes.
If you could and I know, and now you practice what you call LAMAS QiGong.
Yes.
And if you could tell us how you got to this different form of qigong, LAMAS QiGong, and how that's different than what you originally started practicing.
Okay. Because in China and the rest of the world, everyone believes there are 5 elements. There are 6. Earth, water, fire, wood, metal, and air. There are 6 elements. But China, I've been to China a few times, and I find that something is diluted, washed out. So at 6 years of age, I started learning, but it was an arduous lesson. There's a tool made out of strips of bamboo. You get whacked across your shins if you didn't stand properly, because your stance is your foundation for power and speed. I learned the hard way. When I started teaching in England, I didn't teach people that because they would have run away in pain.
Yeah.
You know, Western idiom is, I want magic immediately. Well, magic doesn't come unless you put the ingredients in. And I believe to be a good martial artist, you must understand that you can be destructive, but you must be constructive. So the Qigong that I did with my family wasn't called Qigong. It was the same thing, but that wasn't the name. Okay? It was just practicing how to heal yourself. If you can't do for yourself, you can do for no one else. So the pain I felt in my graduation, as it were, I was able to work with myself. I'm still able to do that, thank God. Not because of my religious belief, but because of what I've been trained to do. All humans have the capability and capacity, all humans, regardless of religion, to heal themselves. But they don't, no one's taught them, they don't know.
Yeah,
And you have to be,
exactly. And that's why we got you on the podcast, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to share to the world how to live a healthier life and how to heal for themselves. I want to go for it. Sorry.
When you do your communication with your people you have, you will find you must talk to them, you must deal it. A few of them with their health complaints, give me 5 seconds. They will get back to you. A few will find they're being healed. It is done. It works that fast. It doesn't need medicine. All it needs is them to live a good life and eat properly. Nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's a gift for your members that you can distribute, and they will tell you the truth, if they speak the truth, that their problems are abating, healing, some have vanished completely. But they must speak the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can ask me any question.
Awesome. I want to kind of just like answer the obvious question here. So in America, and kind of all over the world, like Tai Chi is pretty popular. A lot of people know what Tai Chi is.
Yes.
Yoga is extremely popular, especially
Yes.
in America and in the Western world. But explain to us what is Qigong?
Okay. First, let me tell you what yoga is. The truth is, yoga came from an old Indian art named Kali Mai Pujai. Its roots are embedded thousands of years ago in the dark arts. So that's my job with that part, with yoga. Tai Chi is an old Qigong, an old form developed by a Qigong master 1700 years ago, but only came into Western knowledge 700 years ago.
Yeah.
But only been spread through the West in the last 80 years. So Tai Chi is really and truly a fighting with hands and feet. That's its true origins. It has no remedial health modifying process. It's a martial art. And the word martial means to fight, to offer resistance, not to heal oneself. When I went to China, there were many martial artists who came asking for help. And my words to them, a few I helped, not as I didn't, because I know what they're doing is wrong. And if they don't listen to reason, they must suffer the consequence. I told you I'm a bad Catholic, didn't I? But I'm a good Christian. So I did the best I can with those who saw the folly of their ways. So Qigong was practiced 4,700 years ago. There was a flood, not the flood of Noah. It was a flood of an area named Wu. A lot of people died because there was no medicine, there was no doctors. There might have been a few witch doctors or con men or charlatans or tricks, whatever you want.
Yeah.
But one of the regions had an emperor. There were 3 regions in China. One had an emperor, the other one got and he heard about this guy, magician, that was healing people. And he made him a deal. He first captured his family and says, if you help my people to heal, show them what to do, I'll look after your family. So he helped them, but then the emperor of that area, that region, kept him prisoner. Because some of the secrets you can't give out. You just can't. That's what a secret is. It can only be shared by one. 2 people can't share a secret. It's not a secret anymore. So basically, that's the origins. And then as things went by, they left China, not in disgrace, but have lost everything they had. Because at that time, there was a warring region. There was a war between the areas in China before its reunification, before it became China. And because they were part of the LoLo family, LOLO, that's the people I'm telling you. They left. And the journey from where they left to where they arrived took almost 2.5 years. They were attacked because they were a warring tribe. Wherever they went, their numbers got decreased. And eventually it was when they got on a ship, they were robbed because they couldn't speak English. And when a person said to them, what's your name? Name. He says LoLo, and he thought he meant Lo twice, L-O-W or L-O-W-E, twice, because they were English conquistadors, English privateers, English sailors, whatever word you want. But they were doing a lot of things. So then they got into the British colony, and the guy wrote down L-O-W. But it's supposed to be L-O-L-O. But then, when I was born, 1943. That was the end of the so-called Second World War. I was in a primitive, backward, fifth world country, so people just call you what they want. When I went to school, I wrote LOW, they said you must put an E on it. You're speaking English. You do. So that's how the name came about. It's not a Chinese name. So that's where we are at this moment in time. So if you ask me any question, I'll answer.
Yeah, so that's really interesting. Okay, so I guess the next question would be, physically, like, what is Qigong? I know it has to do a lot with the breath and movement, and it's this sort of meditative practice that combines both the breath and the movement, but more so focusing on the breath. Would that be correct?
Yes, because if you don't breathe, you die.
Yeah.
Simple. You can go without eating, you can go without drinking, you can't go without breathing. So the secret is in the breath. The ministrations, or how you use the breath, how you direct the breath, what organ you direct it to, can enhance that particular organ. Because you work in one organ, one has to be careful you don't impoverish the others. So it's not an easy task to do.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can practice Qigong. Let me give you an idea. People have been practicing Qigong in China 4,700 years ago. They give it different names. And some people take the martial part out of it, and some Chinese people create their own art, give it their own name. But the origin of it all was Qigong.
Mm-hmm.
The original people who practiced it was the LoLo. There was two. The LoLo tribe and another tribe. There were two tribes, major ones. Mm-hmm. And they were always warring. So anyone can practice Qigong. It makes you feel healthy, makes you feel strong. But unless you can practice the art of Qigong that is internal, no matter how strong you are, one tiny electron, every time you breathe, 6.24 10 to the 18 power electrons move. Every time you take a breath. So you have a molecular, cataclysmic avalanche of electrons. So your body's changing inside all of the time. In real Qigong that I do, you use the breath, which is made of electrons, to encourage an avalanche effect. So where in one part of your body, an organ is being distressed, you get an avalanche of electrons, which are negative charged particles, because humans are negative. Mm-hmm. Humans are not positive.
Yeah.
For each single positron, there are about 50 billion electrons.
Mm-hmm.
So you cloud up with electrons. They're in your blood supply, they're in your brain, they're in your eye, every part of your body. But a neuron or a positron is surrounded by a cataclysmic number of electrons constantly moving. So that's where real Qigong power is in the electrons. They're the source of life.
Yeah. I do want to, so I want to get into electrons and this idea of like electromagnetism a little later, but before we do get into that, so I have your book here, and people who are listening to this, they'll have the show notes, which will have the link to the book and a lot of other resources that I've put together for them to look at. But in the book, and I know you say this a lot, that stress is the genesis of all the disease, and you alluded to this earlier in the podcast. If you could just expand on this and kind of talk about why is stress so important, and why do we need to manage our stress, and also how does, I know this is a lot, but how does Qigong mitigate stress and help that?
First, stress attacks any part of your body, individually or as a host of problems. When you don't breathe slowly and deeply, the brain's ability to function is impaired, because every time you breathe air into your body, it goes into your lung, it has to go there first. Then you should be able to guide the breath with the blood flow inside of your body, in your heart. They crush together, they masticate, they massage each other, and then the blood leaves your body to go to your brain. It leaves the heart to go directly to the brain, energized by the food you've eaten, the nutrients from the food, and the oxygen, the molecules. When it enters your brain, it's guided. It has instructions it follows. It goes through the brain through an area called the medulla. The medulla is a part of the brain, the back of your head. And it actually sends, when it receives the blood, which is oxygenated and empowered with the nutrients in the food, it sends it to different areas. Eventually it goes through one particular area, which takes the blood particles between 24 and 45 milliseconds. It sends it through the brain to this locality, and then it leaves and goes into the body. Between 24 and 45 milliseconds is happening all of the time. There's no pause.
Yeah.
That blood with the nutrients gives you strength, power to do work. So if you breathe relaxed, that's why meditation, and I'm quoting, meditation is supposed to be good for you. Yes, if you meditate, not pretend to meditate. There's a difference. Meditation means going into yourself, not out. Because if people say they can see things outside of their body, let me tell you what happens. When you see things outside, you've opened the capillaries, you open the pores in the body, and there's a force. You can call it whatever you want. I call it perverse Qi. It enters your body to destroy. So when a person...
Yeah. I was going to just quickly say, like, is the perverse Qi, is that Sha Qi? Am I correct on that?
If it's not the Qi that your body lives with, which is Tian Qi, spelled T-I-A-N or T-I-E-N. If it's not the same thing, but spelling and speech and language makes it sound different. This is the only Qi power that human beings need. Everything else is not good. So your Qi depends upon your lifestyle and the way you think. Even your thoughts can open the body's defense mechanism to allow perverse Qi to enter. So bad thoughts creates access for things that are out there, energetic properties that are very harmful. Bad thoughts is an opening of your mind to something, I would say, almost evil. Bad thoughts are not good.
Yeah. In regards to stress, I know you talk about in the book you mentioned cellular wall dysregulation, right? If you could expand on that, that'd be awesome.
Right. When your body's stressed up, it doesn't mean anything has entered it. No, it means inside the body there's an organ or a pair of organs. There's 6 pairs. One is invisible. One you can't see. If any one of those organs or pairs are affected by ill health, contamination, infection, bad food, injury, brainwashing, yes, anything that is not good for the person, that energetic property, including your food and the water you drink or the alcohol, whatever it is, will trigger an unfavorable response in any single pair or single organ. So what you eat, what you inhale, what you breathe, what you do, how you think, opens your body, not open this way, but opens your body, makes it more susceptible, makes it more accessible to energetic properties that are not good. So when someone says, I'm stressed up, they might say some bad news of being stressed up. No. The entry of it, not the news itself. Because the bad news might be, well, I lost 50 million pounds, right? Let's say. The point is the person had so much money to waste. they were already on a downward slide. Shall I tell you? The richest man in the world right now, Elon Musk, his health is suffering. The richest man on this planet. His health at a mental level is being impeded.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So stress, no matter how rich, how poor, how clever, how brilliant, how young, how old, whether male or female, you see I'm being very guarded, because to me there's only two genders on this planet.
I agree.
So it doesn't matter what, stress will always enter the system, because as humans, we have undoubtedly been born and conceived in stress. From the moment you're born, they smack you, it's stress, it's pain, it's a shock.
Yeah.
You suddenly have the umbilical cord cut, it's stress. You have to gas to breathe air and have to clean your nose and mouth. It's stress. So from the minute a baby is born, it's stress. It's there all the time. When you're growing up from the age of 0 to 4 years age, you're under stress at a juvenile level. The stress changes when you become between 4 and 14 years. The stress alters. And after 40, it becomes more pronounced. It becomes more pronounced because the obsessive behavior of humans for sexual activity begins around 14 years of age. Even if the person, the child, because to me, I believe you're under 18, you're still a child. That's my belief. You're not cogently enough of the evil in the world. So the children are suffering because of adults. Adults even stress up the children. So stress is there all over.
Yeah.
All over.
What would you say is, so obviously pretty much any LAMAS Qigong that you do will help mitigate that stress, but is there one particular, I guess, movement or type of Qigong practice that you would suggest for someone to do when they're under a lot of stress?
Yes. However, LAMAS Qigong, the name LAMAS, I coined that name for 3 reasons. One, it has the word Lamas in it, L-A-M-A-S. That's a Chinese group of people who practice a good religious practice. 2, L for Lord, A for Almighty. Lord Almighty is only God.
Amen.
I wouldn't go into the other 3, but each of the words represent the lion, the monkey, the arapaima, which is a fish, but people call it the golden carp, the bird, the lamagea, and the snake. But there's a 6th. That's the problem with China. They didn't realize when you make the 5, you get air, and the only animal that uses air to create fire is a dragon. That's the 6th. That's why air is so powerful. And until a person, no matter who they are, no matter what grade, no matter how long, no matter how old, unless they understand the dragon is the power, they can never heal themselves. Therefore, they can't heal nobody else. They're just con men, tricksters. I believe in the dragon. You mentioned you want to know. It's called LoLo. Unfortunately, that's it. L-O-L-O. Unfortunately. It's simple, easy to do. Here's the problem. Because it's so easy to do, the practitioner is not resilient enough to understand it's being presented so simply to help, because it can be shown to be how difficult and complex. The movements are very easy to do. They're simple. But that's only a minuscule, a microscopic part of Qigong. The word Lamas, as I coined the phrase to keep my brain active, that there are always 6 animals. We know the dragon don't exist. We know that. It doesn't exist. Why then in every country in this planet they have drawings of dragons? Maybe it was a pterodactyl they saw, but pterodactyl died millions of years ago. Humans have not been on this planet millions of years. We've been on this planet hundreds of thousands. Pterodactyl died out 60 million years ago. So that's the only animal that could look like a dragon. But how do all these people, different languages, different religions, different cultures, different backgrounds, by themselves, no collaboration, knows what a dragon looks like? Because the dragon's inside the human as well. We could be fierce, intolerant. We can be very, very violent. And the dragon also will protect us young the loss of its life. So humans, inside, there's a dragon. Not what you think. I meant the power of a dragon is within the human being.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you say LoLo, I know John Galamaga, he's talked about with me Lo cleansing, right?
Yes.
To essentially take away the bad chi. If I'm correct on that.
Yes.
Um,
Right. Let me difference there. You can't take away bad chi. You can eliminate. You can't take it away because it's inside your body. You can eliminate it. You can kill it, and then practice so none can enter in the future. Now, Lo Cleansing Qigong is part of, now we're coming to part of the art of Daoyuan. That's the Qigong I learned from my family, Daoyuan. But it's from the LoLo family of the LoLo tribes in China. So I give it the credit for its source, but it's called Daoyuan. And it's recorded in China. Daoyuan exists more than 4,700 years ago. You give me 1 second, I'll bring a picture off my wall. Just give me one second.
Yeah, no worries.
Are we there?
Yes, still here. Okay, awesome. So what exactly am I looking at there? If you could explain.
Each one of these figures represent a different art form.
Okay.
I told you it was. So this one you're looking at here, this one, can you see it?
Yes.
That's a force movement in Lo Cleansing Qigong. Your arms come up from the side, come in front of the body.
Yes.
But all of these, each one is a different form. I told you there's a lot to learn. There's a lot.
Yeah, no,
but
that's so cool.
The easiest one is Lo Cleansing Qigong.
Yeah.
But the whole lot is Daoyuan.
Yeah. Amazing.
Lo Cleansing Qigong works. Hold on, this is important.
Yeah.
Lo Cleansing Qigong works if you drink clean water. Clean water means not from the tap. It has chemicals in it. Those chemicals in time will cause problems.
Yeah.
Water must be clean. You can take from the tap and then you boil it and then you strain it, whatever. Try to kill off as much as you can.
Yeah.
Food. In Qigong philosophy, you can eat anything you want, providing its life was ended with no torture, no pain. You season the food, if it's meat of any description or flesh, you have to season it to kill the bacteria. Then you have to cook it so it's not overcooked or undercooked. Now that throws us a span in the works because a lot of people eat raw food from Japan. You know what it's called? Sushi?
No. What is it? Oh, sushi. Yes, of course. Yeah.
Which means it hasn't been cooked.
Yeah, raw fish.
So no matter what, there's loads of bacteria in that.
Yeah.
So those. Then you're breathing. One must breathe into the nostril, into the lung, into the abdomen, and then to the perineum. That's the area between the genitals and the rectum. that is microscopic breathing.
Yeah.
If a person is a real master, and they're very few, if ever, you have to breathe up the spine, into the kidneys, bypass them, through the spine, into the skull, and bring it back here, right out here again. There are very few people on this planet, if ever, that can do that.
Yeah.
To do that, you perpetuate your lifespan with power. But if the lives that they've lived have not been constructive, have not helped others, they don't live very long. It's like having a tornado in the body.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you obviously you remember John Galamaga, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, of course. So he actually came to my house, and my mom and my mom Rosebud, he walked us through trying to get us to understand how to perform microcosmic breathing. Um, and he had us first doing it lying down because he said that's it's an easier way to try to like just getting into it. Um, and I'll tell you, it's like you feel like energy moving in your body. It's really
It
amazing.
is.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does
yeah,
move.
yeah. And then he also was telling us about the different colors that you want to visualize and how those different colors correlate to different organs that you want to focus on. So I believe, for instance, focusing on red is for the heart, if I'm not mistaken.
Heart and small intestine.
Heart and small intestines. Okay, awesome.
No,
Could
let me explain that.
yeah,
Because there are 6 pairs. 11 of them are real. 1 is a concept which exists. So when you breathe, remember that the oxygen goes into your heart with your blood supply and your nutrients. But when you eat, it goes in first into the small intestine. So already you can see the correlation. The
yeah.
oxygen will go to the heart, the food goes small. So those pair are the first pair. So yes, they're pairs, and that color is red. However, how many shades of red do you know?
A lot.
Can you see the problem?
Yeah,
It's got to be the red that someone who is capable of seeing into your body and seeing what type of color, shade of color, the hue, the tint, and the temperament. Because red is fire, it's hot. So if your heart already has a problem, and using Qigong, and you're using the red color, you're making the heart hotter. You see the problem? A little learning is
yeah,
a dangerous thing.
yeah.
So although there's 6 colors, one is a color that is colorless, air. So when you breathe, you know you're breathing it, but it has no color. But it has a color. It has, but it hasn't. There's the problem. So let's
Yeah.
talk about the heart.
Okay.
We know the heart, we're told, is the organ that suppresses or excites anger, hatred, etc., etc., etc. No, it doesn't do that. The heart modifies, cools down. It's when the body is fed data, instruction, news, a bad vibration, the large intestine constricts. As it does, it produces more life force to make the heart burn brighter, to start power for war, for fight, for anger. So the heart, each pair works together. And each part of each pair works against and for. In other words, if the heart's having a problem, but it wasn't caused by the small intestine will produce enzymes that will cool the heart down. That's why you say your person is under stress. Breathe slowly and deeply and calm down. Because the small intestine needs to be quietened down. Its main concern is processing nutrients, the food. So if it's constricted, it can't process anymore. The heart then looks for battle, war, fight. So yes, you can think of red. My question is between the darkest, brightest red and the faintest pink, how many shades are there? Which one you're going to use?
Yeah.
And that means every single of the 6 colors, including the one that has no color. It has. Because it exists. It exists.
Yeah.
We may not be able to see the color.
Yeah. So how could you do this microcosmic breathing and visualizing the color if there's so many different shades? Like which one do you pick? Or
easy. It's easy.
Okay.
First, if the person heard of this type of breathing, if they heard of it, it must have been via one instructors I've taught, or one of the people the instructor have taught, or some. When I used to have a big web thing on, massive. I talked about it so people heard, because I don't want to hide information, so I give it out. So the person heard something and they practice.
Yeah.
So that's how they could have got the information. But as I just said to you, you're looking at one thing, but this is the whole lot. So simplistically, Lo Cleansing Qigong, the breathing must be combined with the movement. If you do it lying down, not moving, you will get the sensations, but not the benefits.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you do it standing up, pardon me, it's better than lying down or sitting down. And the reason, because if you're lying down or sitting down on something, the spinal cord really is a chamber from the Huyen point, bow, to Huyen. So it comes from here, the top of the head, where there used to be the fontanelle. It's called Bayou. So it's a chamber, a column, down the spine. So yes, as I said earlier on, when you inhale or you eat, it goes to the head, then it goes down part, but it doesn't go that part. Only the blood moves in that part. And only when the blood is oxygenated. And the reason, when you are calm, when you're meditating, when you're relaxed, this opens up wider. Open your mind like a flower, stress relieved within the hour.
I like that.
Perfect. So when a person meditating, they should become unstressed. They should become unstressed. The operative word is should. Because they might relax and feeling good. But an hour before they did wrong, hour after they go and do harm to someone, financially, sexually, mentally. So the little that they're getting is vanished so quickly. You don't have to be a monk. I'm not a monk. No. I'm a real tear-ass martial artist. Yes. So if I'm faced with antagonism that threatens my existence, I will do the last word. Preservation of your life first means preservation of your health. If someone stabs you with a knife, they've impinged upon your health. It could kill you, sure. If someone feeds you bad food, damage your health, they can kill you, poison you. If someone tells lies about you, those lies can come back and become to you a reality, not real, but I've been harassed, I've been bombarded by all these lies. My life's a mess, I'm under stress. My life's a mess, I'm under stress. So stress is not one thing only. It encapsulates the entire human being. Animals get stressed, but they don't quantify it. They can't. They have no rational, no reasoning power, no logic. So all humans will become, and is stressed, including myself. But I abate. I quieten it down and think, what good can I do? And the stress goes. Stress does not want you to be good. It wants you to be in pain, in agony, worried, fretful, disorganized, bemused. Stress does not want a person to be calm, relaxed, self-preserving, but doing good. No. If you're doing those things, stress doesn't like it. It leaves your body. So if you do good, stress leaves your body. It will return within half an hour if you think or do. If you eat bad food, if you run into a brick wall, if you get hit by a car, someone takes an axe and crushes your shins. That's all stress. Someone poisons you. That's stress. Someone talks bad about you. That's stress.
Yeah. Yeah. It's everything. And we all have it. It's just how do we deal with it, which is the big question. I want to get into a couple some technical stuff. And the first thing is can we see chi? So and so put that to aside for 1 second. And then also from what John has told me and what my mom has told me, they told me that you can see chi.
Yes.
Correct? If that's incorrect, then let me know. And then also like so can anyone see chi and then can you?
First question first. Can people see chi? No. Humans can't see chi. Humans that aspire and are on a spiritual path are humans only as you see them. Inside of them is a different universe.
Yeah.
If, as I said, you can move without thought 6.24 10 to the 18th power electrons for 1 second, if you have 1 volt, the most sickest human has 120, 130. Good humans have 190. Supreme humans around 200. So if you take, say if you take 150 and multiply it by 6.24 10 to the 18th power for 1 second, 1 second, that's the battle going on within a human being. So to go above that, you've got to be something a little bit more than a mere human. You will still need food. You can still be killed or murdered. You'll still get old. But inside, there's something different going on. Now, for people to reach that, they have to, without need, without encouragement, they have to devote their lives to helping others. That's a hard job. Not many people want that job.
Yeah.
I didn't say working for money. I say helping. I said to you, the people I help with transmitting an energetic property from this country to other countries. I only do England and America. I don't do any other countries. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand my limitations. So if you cannot aspire to giving of yourself, how could the self become powerful than the self? It's that difficult. When you give, if you were able to transmit chi, if you're able to give chi, it means it's coming from some place. You cannot replace it. You will get old, you will get weak, you'll get hungry, you'll get lonely, because you're giving away your life force.
Mm-hmm.
I just said to you, I'm here in England. I saw only one client that I've seen for the last 30 years. If my instructors come for help, I'll give it to them. And there's one family in America, in Florida, and my instructors, if they phone for help, nobody else.
Yeah.
Not selfishness, self-preservation.
Yeah.
I can't put the chi back. So I've been giving it all the time for so many years. And no one has said to themselves, well, this man is helping others. How about helping him? It never happens. There's a reason why. To help someone, you have to impoverish yourself. If someone gives you a helping hand, they don't realize the minute you touch somebody, there's a transmutation, there's a transfer of energetic properties immediately. So when I used to work on people, I absorbed their sickness.
Mm-hmm.
And they absorb my health.
Yeah.
Not a good thing, is it?
No. Yeah, and I so we can make this clear to like the audience. So you more recently you stopped traveling and now you're staying in the UK, and I guess you're seeing limited clients. But before you were
Hold on.
traveling.
Yeah, hold
Yeah.
on. I
Yeah.
stopped traveling 1.5 to 2 years ago.
Okay.
I don't see no clients anymore.
No clients. Okay.
If they wanted to come, leave their country and come here, and they make all the arrangements beforehand, and I feel that I can help them, or I know I'm able to help them, or I think they deserve help, or I'm led to believe by whatever visions, whatever magic's going on in the universe, that I feel that they're not a good person, I will not help.
Yeah.
So those conditions have to be met. So
Yeah.
the answer, you're
And
right. I don't see people anymore. But if someone says, Master, I heard you can help me, my first question, what's your name? What do you do? Where do you live? Tell me something about yourself. In the meantime, because I can't touch them, I am absorbing data, I'm processing the data, I'm coming to a logical final conclusion. This person should be helped. This person must never be helped.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not an easy job.
Oh no, yeah, for sure. And I know like this is definitely not like a selfish thing because I know when you were traveling and when you're down in Boca, South Florida, my mom has told me all the stories. Like, I mean, first off, just like it's like thank you, you know. And I know
Mm.
my mom would say the exact same thing. I mean, she had me when she was in her 40s and having day or monthly sessions with you, and having a extremely healthy child, and you know,
But did you
not to
tell
like
her, did she told you?
yeah.
I told her she was pregnant and she didn't know. And I told her
Yeah.
the sex is going to be a male.
Yep, and
Ask
she said
her.
that you, yeah, no, I asked her, and then she also said that you told her that I was going to be 8 pounds 14 ounces, and I was
Yeah,
exactly 8 pounds 14
yes.
ounces,
That is
and
correct.
and you told her and you told her how long she'll be in labor for, and it was the right time,
Exactly
and
right.
so it's amazing, and I don't know if you so this is what my mom has told me. I don't know if you remember it, but she said that you're the one who named me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's amazing. So we have that special connection there, and I'm
Because it reminds me of one of the apostles, John.
uh-huh.
So
Mm,
Jonathan, yes,
yeah,
but John, because normally you have a long name, people shorten it up. The only
yeah,
way they can shorten up is calling you John,
yeah.
which is an
That's amazing.
apostle. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's so
And
cool.
doesn't matter what religion, you're still John.
Yeah, I love it. Um, do you also remember and then we'll get back to I have a few other questions, but do you also remember so my brother Joseph when he was about like 6, my mom told me that you wanted to show him the strength that you had.
Yes.
And so you got his belt buckle and you picked him
Yeah.
up by the
One
pinky
finger.
off the ground.
Yes.
6-year-old.
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
That's
so
true.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was not the first nor the last. I did with about
I'm sure.
8 or 10 kids, right?
Yeah.
The bigger ones I had to use this finger. This finger is 10 times stronger than this finger. Although this
Uh-huh.
finger can do a lot, because the finger here is thicker, it can bear more weight. It's longer,
Mm,
and you know if you have a longer rod, you have pliancy, but you also reach further out. So there
yeah.
are reasons why. There are reasons why. And
Yeah.
although I got
Amazing.
small hands, I have small hands. They're very strong. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So part of it is
I
strength.
yeah, I'm sure. All right, quickly going back, so you answered the question, can we see chi, and that's no.
No,
But
no,
can
one
you see
second. No,
chi?
sec, one, no, 1 second. Can
Yeah.
we? That is plural, meaning universal. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is a person able to cultivate the ability to see chi? That would depend on what pair of organs they're looking at. Because to heal yourself, you have to see the organ. You see the organ as a mass of color. Then you have to distribute, break into the colors, and then you will see other colors. So if you look into the red, there are other colors in there. Then one color will be more brighter than the others. That's the color you take out mentally, focus on, do your breathing with, and send that color to where you need help. Now you know how it's done, but try doing it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Because unless your diet, unless your thoughts, your actions, what you drink, your deeds, your intentions, unless these things are suitable to promote good health, in other words, you're not a saint, you're not a missionary. But where Qigong is concerned, you must first, upon yourself, take on a mantle that I will do good. Regardless of the reason for doing it, you still have to do good.
I want to quickly ask. So John has mentioned this to me. I've also heard you say it. That qi flows concentrically around. John says around red blood cells, right, and then through our vessels. And so that qi is flowing concentrically around the vessel. Is that would you agree with that statement?
Okay, let me clarify that. The qi moves in concentric circles around the area, vessel, or material the blood is flowing through. Let us say we know blood goes up and then down. The blood goes up in the heart and the brain, then it goes down. As the blood goes down, it's now less clean. It has lessened ability to do good. When it comes back up, it gets reoxygenated. It becomes powered up again. So wherever the blood is flowing, qi is flowing around it concentrically, wherever the blood is going. But qi is moving in both directions.
Okay.
So the blood is flowing that way. Qi is going this way with the blood, but it's going that way as well. Qi moves in both directions in sympathy with the blood.
Got it. Okay. So I know you talk, and I mean, Qigong is all about these slow movements, right? In today's society, a lot of people love to run and do these fast moving exercises, right? Could you tell us your perspective on these fast exercises, and then also how that relates to, or how that affects Qi?
Right, I'm going to show you, and you tell me, when I say count, I want you to count and tell me how fast I've moved. Count!
Very fast, yeah.
There's your answer. It doesn't have to be slow. It's slow when you absorb the breath, and then you make the breath do work for your organs. Then the breath helps to masticate the food, break it down faster. As it breaks it down faster, you have more nutrients being extracted. More nutrients means the blood is now fortified, stronger. As your blood becomes more powerful, your body becomes more powerful. So the breath empowers the body. The body must empower the breath. I'll show you magic. As my fingers of one hand change, look at the two hands.
They look similar.
Right. Does one hand look more red than the other?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes, that one that you just moved.
Because the heart's on the left side, and without doing exercise, I can pump the blood faster. So
wow.
That's how you work with the breath. Because I noticed, but you didn't see, I took something out of my mouth. But it doesn't exist. but it was real.
Yeah.
But they don't exist. The thoughts you're having now are real, but no one can see them. But they're
Yeah.
real. So Qigong is a path between the real and the surrealistic. You have to believe you're capable. Otherwise, you're not capable. So yes, parts of Qigong promotes health, strength, durability, lifespan, intellectual storage. Another part of Qigong produces physical power, some speed that lessens with age, endurance. To the moment you die, you have better endurance than anyone within 20 years younger, 20 years older. You have a 40-year span, you'll outperform them. So there's a lot to be gained. It expands the mind. Ask me any question about any organ of any person you know, and you'll get a wide answer immediately. Go on.
Would you like me to ask you now?
Yes.
Okay, definitely I'll say my mom. And the organ. Um,
Kidneys.
let's do kidneys, yeah.
Kidneys. Left side of the body. Bottom of the kidney. There's material there that shouldn't be there. It's not dangerous, but it's injurious. It's not life-threatening, but it's not something that should be there. So when you speak to your mom, you tell her, you got my phone number, haven't you?
Yeah.
You got my phone number. Yeah?
Yes, yes. Yeah.
To phone me in my time, and I'll get rid of it as soon as possible.
Okay. I
Next
will do
question.
that. I appreciate it. I do want to be respectful of your time. We are over an hour right now. I
Well,
do have a
close it
lot of
when you want
questions.
to. Go on.
We can keep going?
Go on.
Okay, awesome. I really appreciate it. Okay. So, this kind of goes back to like what is chi and can we see chi and stuff like that. But so in science, right? What I learned in school, I'm in college right now. And what you learn in any biology class is that that all these atoms have electrons, right, flowing around them, and
Mhm.
and however, science, no scientist, no microscope has ever seen an electron, right? Yet science acknowledges the existence of electrons, right? In the
Yeah.
same in science will say electrons are real. But then when you talk about chi and you try to put that in and you try to ask a scientist about that, they'll be like, "Oh, that's pseudoscience, that's fake, all
Mhm.
this," right? Um, kind of my question is like how do you see electrons and chi? How does that do they relate to each other at all?
Yes. When I see electrons, they look like a pale blue. In the center, it's almost faded out into white, but it's not. And around the edge, around it, it's a tiny little blue thing.
Hmm.
Here comes the crunch. About 20 years ago, I was in Florida, and I had a photographer filming whilst I do a form. And he asked the same question. He said, "Can you see chi?" I said, "It's possible." I never said I can. He said, "Well, then what does it look like?" And I told him, because he is a very intelligent man. He does massive contracts with photography. I said, "Well, you could see something, but you won't be able to understand." He says, "What?" I says, "When you come to process what you're filming, you will find it unanswerable, but you will see my chi flowing, and it will move all around, and it's blue, with that blue edge. So I will send you a picture of me. I have many, because every single, he had 2 cameras. He was using one, his wife was using one. She was using the still camera, he was using the video camera. I said to him, only one camera will be able to see. And her camera, every single shot, it was a fast camera, it picked up every single shot. She was there on different parts of the body. He looked around, there were trees, there was no sunshine. And in the trees, you can see the shadow of the trees. But where the Qi was, here's the thing, I have the pictures. I have them still, hundreds. Some of the Qi entered my jiffle. Some of the Qi was that big, the top, sleeves.
Yeah.
Some of the Qi was that big, some of the Qi was that big. So I will send you some pictures.
Please. Yeah, I would love to see those. That would be amazing. I want to get back to voltage real quick. John has shared this story. So I actually had John. John was my first guest on the podcast. It was we did it in person, John and I. John told me this story. It was him, you, and then a bunch of other Qigong masters who were practicing under you. And essentially you tested their voltage, and all of them were low voltage. And then you tested your own voltage, and John said it like skyrocketed, right?
We use a meter. We use an actual meter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, a voltmeter. Yes.
Yeah.
So can you tell me how does voltage relate to cultivating Qi? So when you cultivate a lot of Qi, is that bringing your voltage higher? Is that?
Right. First, do you know what voltage is? What
I
is
think
voltage?
I know what voltage is.
What is
voltage is? Yeah, voltage is essentially like a charge difference, and essentially having like no. Okay, tell me.
What is voltage?
I don't know.
Pressure. It's pressure. The pressure means that on the negative side of a battery or a power supply, that negative rail or wire is supplying billions of electrons. That is pressure. That's why voltage shocks you.
Yeah.
But if you get current, if you get amp, it stops the heart. So volts, jolts, amps, clamps. Can you remember that? So you can take a high voltage, people get hit by lightning and still survive. Others burn to crisp.
Yeah.
So some of them had some resistance. The shoes might have had rubber, so it didn't contract through. It just hit them with a shock, the force, the pressure. So that's what voltage is. It's a pressure, it's a force to attract and to force metal to produce an electron flow. That is what a voltage is. What's your question about volt again?
Well, so I was just saying, so how does that, so when you cultivate Qi, right, is that raising your voltage? Is that
No.
what's happening there? Okay.
No. Your voltage in the body will stay the same, and only changes that it can make is if you get more healthy or sick. The voltage will go up or down. That's how voltage changes. The current, the amps, the current in your body will depend upon the state of health. By that, not the amount of current, but its flow. So you might still pass, say, 50 milliamps, which is a very small amount.
Yeah.
And it's flowing, let's say it's moving at this rate. You get the voltage, it'll move faster. It's pressure.
Yeah.
So as the voltage increases, the current will sometimes decrease.
Okay.
But if the voltage is sufficient and the current is sufficient, the medium burns out. That's how you blow fuse.
Mm-hmm.
Same power supply, and then your battery goes down, or the sub windings of the windings around the transformer is burnt out, because you're like a transformer. You transpose food and transforms it to energy, power to do work. That's what the volts and the amps do.
Mm-hmm.
The danger between the two of them is the resistance. The resistance, I don't want to buy good food because I can't afford it. I don't want to wear good clothes because the rain or the snow might happen. I don't want to drive a good car because I'll lose my brain and drive it too fast. I don't want to, and I say I don't want to, and I say I don't want to. No, this is the resistance. So resistance resists the current flow. The voltage will try to increase, but it can only increase to its maximum level. When it does, the resistance might be the fuse wire burns out. No more current flow. The human being, when they destroy the resistance via stress, the human burns out. They die.
Yeah.
Stress is a killer.
Yeah. Kind of piggybacking off of that, you mentioned you were talking about someone who gets struck by lightning but has shoes on that aren't grounded to the earth, right? There's recent research, like scientific research, that's showing that if you're barefoot to the earth, right, it's what we call grounding, right? You have this flow of electrons that's coming from the earth, this negatively charged electrons coming from the earth and going through your body, right? And you're becoming more negative, right? And you're gaining these electrons.
Correct.
How does that connect? Because I know some of the Qigong movements, and maybe all of them, you would want to be doing them barefoot on the earth, right?
Where no other environment is necessary, that's the best. But we're talking about what happens if you get a lightning bolt down.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have been hit, and then 6 months or a year after, get hit again. And they live. They survive. Because at that time, the shoes they were wearing had thick rubber soles. Insulate them. It's like a break in the circuitry. Your fuse is blown. No current can flow. You get the shock. Wham! Bang! You don't get the current. A little tiny little battery, let's say that size.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you put it into the mains and you put a large enough fuse, it can pass current enough to kill you. If the fuse has a thin wire, it'll blow before. It can't do any harm.
Mm-hmm.
So when the lightning comes down, you know the power of lightning? If we could harness lightning, the electricity is free.
Yeah.
If we couldn't. So forget about earth power, because although, here comes the thing now, the electrons are negative, Earth itself is full of electrons. You can't drain them. So there'll be a constant flow. That's what keeps us alive. If we don't look after the planet, Earth, the human population will cease to exist. It's Earth, planet Earth, that produces the electrons flow that keeps us alive.
Yeah.
All the plants would die, the fish would die, the animals will die, the air itself will become polluted and will die.
Mm-hmm.
So when you move it from the earth to the person now, this person or that person, me, you, if our ability to continue the flow of energy, power, volt, current, qi, whatever you want, once you lose that ability, you begin to die.
Yeah.
So any person giving their qi away is making a sacrifice that people can't understand. They're giving away their life force.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was giving away my life force for more than 30 years.
Yeah. It must have had a big toll on you.
Yes. When I decided to stop 2 years ago, I was smart. I stopped before the aging hit. I hit 80 and I thought, that's it, gotta stop. In 2 years, I've aged about 20 years. Yes. Power-wise, I've got stronger.
Yeah.
Stamina-wise, I've got weaker. Speed-wise, I got weaker. But I got more strong, but I lose speed, I lose stamina. You can't have everything. So I decided, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to stop. I can heal people from a distance, I know that, that's a fact. But when I touch, I can heal a person 1,000,000 times faster. Because I lose 1,000,000 times.
Because you're losing it. Yeah.
Yes.
You're losing it because you're also you're giving the good chi to the other person.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
And you're absorbing what's coming
Their
out
bad
of them.
chi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I would say things that are not good. Call it perverse chi.
Perverse chi. Okay. Yeah.
That is a real
I like
name
that.
for it.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Wait, kind of going off of that. John has told me that I guess so with everything, right? There's always something good that comes from it, and there could be something bad that comes from it, right? It's kind of balancing that off. And John's mentioned that when you John's mentioned when you touch someone, right, you are gaining their perverse chi, right? You're taking some of their perverse chi, and that perverse chi is going into you.
Yeah, but let me change the word. Gain means you're getting something. No. You're being infected by an agent, watch my words, agent provocateur, an agent of provocation.
Okay.
All their harmful deposits enter you.
Yeah.
And then you have the task of getting rid of it.
Yeah.
You can get rid of maybe 90%. But the minute it enters you, it's seeking your weakest points. So when you work with people, if it was possible somebody's working with other people, unless they truly understand the price being paid. Because
exactly. Yeah. So like so like people
chi,
sorry, go.
Perverse chi does not respect anyone. It's an agent provocateur, an agent of provocation.
Yeah.
So it has no respect.
Yeah. So like it's extremely important for these people like chiropractors, massage therapists, people who are working hands-on with other people and are touching other people to cleanse the perverse chi out, right? And so and one of the ways is through LoLo cleansing, right? And so would you agree with that?
That I would agree with that, but there's a proviso.
Okay.
If their thoughts, their habits, their lifestyle is derogatory with respect to the lives of others, perverse chi becomes stronger in them. In other words, if they don't do any good, perverse chi becomes stronger. The only time perverse chi gets weak and is forced to leave is when it's being drawn to a better source. It feeds, that's a better feeding ground, I'll go there. Because perverse chi doesn't rationalize, it only exists to feed on energy. It's not a creature, it's just a manifestation. It doesn't have any form. You understand?
Yeah.
It's just an energetic property. It feeds on good energy. So even a bad person has some energy. I didn't say good, I said some energy. Perverse chi will feed on it, yes.
When you eliminate perverse chi via LoLo cleansing, where is that perverse chi going?
In the ground. In the earth.
Ground. Okay, so back to the earth.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Again, let me quantify. Hold on, this is important. Not back to the earth. It goes to earth to be dissipated. It didn't originate from the planet Earth.
Okay.
It's there.
Okay.
It has
Yeah.
no
Thank
place
you.
of
Okay.
origin.
Hmm.
You understand? Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. Um, I want to quickly talk about. Okay, so I think you may have mentioned this in the book. Chinese culture has said, like, for thousands of years that all organs produce light, right? And now in science, in Western science, there are researchers that are seeing that all our cells produce light, these
Mm.
biophotons, right?
Yes.
Um, and it's really interesting. There was this paper that I was reading a few days ago that looked at neurons, our cells in our brains produce
Yeah.
these biophotons, and they actually hypothesize that this is a way for these cells to communicate with each other,
They do
right?
communicate.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think this is so interesting, and it's a testament to how Chinese medicine and Chinese culture, they didn't have these big labs testing these things, right? They just knew it. How do you think that is? How did they know this stuff?
Well, they didn't know it. They were informed. They
Hmm.
investigated plants, animals, soil, rock, water, and trees. What makes a tree produce leaves? Do you know?
Um,
Photosynthesis.
photosynthesis. Yeah. Okay.
What makes water pure?
I don't know.
Filtration.
Okay. Yeah.
What makes soil fireable?
I'm not sure.
Nutrients.
Okay.
What makes the air breathable? Transposition. I could go on and on. What makes fire warm but lethal? Proximity.
Hmm.
So everything, every element has a good side and a bad side.
Yeah.
So Qi, Tian Qi, Tien or Tian, and
Hmm.
the word Qi behind it.
Hmm.
Qi spelled Qi.
Yep.
Tian Qi is pure energy. Perverse Qi, think of the word perverse. You know what it means? What?
I mean, for lack of better words, I would just say negative or bad, but I know that probably
No,
wrong
no.
wordage there.
Negative is a good energy. Without
Yeah. Yeah.
negative
Yeah. Yeah.
energy, we're in serious trouble. No,
Yes.
it's
Okay.
something that is non-constructive. It's
Uh-huh.
destructive.
Okay. Yeah.
So Qi, Tian Qi,
Hmm.
constructs without destruction.
Hmm.
Perverse Qi destroys because it wants to destroy. It wants to absorb.
Hmm.
Absorb the life force, giving nothing back. So that's the difference between Tian Qi, heavenly Qi, and perverse Qi. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
So some Qis are damaging. A person with force and power and arrogance produces that Qi that you feel. He's big, he's 6'6", he's weighing 300 pounds and he's full of muscles all over his backside. Right away, that alone has made you vulnerable
Hmm.
because perverse Qi feeds on fear. When a
Hmm.
person is sick, they're fearful, and perverse Qi finds that's a beautiful area to engulf.
Mm.
So when people
Yeah.
are sick, they take them to a sick place, like in a hospital, and they get sicker. 50% of people go to hospital die. The other 50% or less, they get medical treatment and they survive for a time.
Yeah. Is Tian Chi and Heavenly Chi, are those synonymous? Are they the same?
It's the same.
Okay.
It's the
Okay.
same.
Good to know. Um. All right. I want to talk about. I mean, we kind of mentioned it, but I want to talk about food quickly. Um. first, could you tell us what is your diet currently like?
Lots of fresh greens. I eat fish regularly.
Hmm. Cooked fish, right?
Yeah. I eat
Okay.
chicken.
Hmm.
I eat lamb. I don't eat beef.
Okay. Can you tell
I
us why no
stopped,
beef but lamb?
right, 32 years ago, 32 years ago, I was walking and it came to me, do not eat beef anymore. I
Mm.
stopped immediately and I told my family. My wife stopped, my son and daughter. My son still eats beef today. My daughter stopped about 15, 20 years ago. But after I stopped after 2 years, then the problem came out about mad cow disease, of Jacob's disease, and all the different disease from meat, because humans were feeding the animals, the cows, the crushed up bodies of other animals.
Yeah. And you got that revelation before that all happened.
32
Amazing.
years ago.
Yeah. You talk about your anti-cancer drink, which is frozen lemon in water, right? Do you still do that?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. If your blood gets sweet, you get skin problems, which is the first signal. And then two things happen. The kidney starts suffering, and your urinary bladder starts suffering.
Hmm.
Too much sugar, too much sugar. So by taking green, bitter, or sour drinks, it helps to nullify, nutrify, negate some of the sugars in the food. Because regardless of what you think, all manufactured products carry sugar because we like this taste.
Yeah.
So that's where the hot water with lemons in it comes into being. Sometimes
Yeah.
I drink the cold water with lemons in the
Okay.
winter. No, you
Yeah.
missed that.
Yeah.
In the summer, I drink hot water with lemons. In the winter,
Okay.
I drink the hot water. No, I drink the cold water in winter. So I fight the cold with cold. I fight the heat with heat. Typical, a fire is burning. Then what you do, you dig and you burn back bushes and shrubs and houses. The fire can't spread anymore.
Yeah.
Fire with fire. Water, you have it, water overflowing. You dig a dam, move the water in a different direction. You fight water with water.
Yeah.
So I fight the cold with cold and the heat with heat. I use the elements.
Mm. Interesting. Um, I guess to piggyback off of that, cooked foods. Do you cook all your foods or even your veggies?
I cook sometimes, I personally cook something maybe once every week or once, twice a week. My wife cooks every single day, and they've got to be vegetables inside. Yes,
Yeah.
they have to be.
Okay. Great. Great. Um, what are your thoughts on if you have any on the carnivore diet? I don't know if you know, but a lot of people on the internet and on social media, they've been they've been moving towards this carnivore diet. So it's like an all meat based diet, and a lot of it
Not,
is yeah,
not good.
yeah.
Here's why
Can you
it's
tell us
not
why?
good.
Yeah.
Because the person becomes unbalanced.
Hmm.
You are what you eat. So they're eating cow, now you're a cow. Eating rabbit, now you're a rabbit. Eating fish,
Yeah.
now you're fish. We are not carnivores. We are omnivores.
Hmm.
We have to eat green stuff, plant life, for the digestive system to work properly.
Yeah.
How comes the thing for you? If you don't eat a balanced diet, the digestive system refuses to have bright up. It
Hmm.
cannot candleless. When the digestive system candlelesses, gets bright, the large lung, your lungs are large, right? The lung and the large intestine are in harmony.
Mm.
So when you eat food, It first goes to the small intestine, then eventually goes to the large intestine. The small intestine takes it all the best it can. When it goes to the large intestine, it's just rubbish. Now the large intestine has to take that rubbish and extract the best it can to support life. So the lung then watches and is in harmony with the large intestine. What happens if your lungs fail? Hear the question. What happens if your lungs fail?
You're dead.
Of course.
Yeah.
So if people are eating food that is not commensurate with empowering the large intestine, they're affecting the lungs without being aware.
Yeah.
Now listen, one more question, and then we say cheerio until you send me a copy of it. Let me see what it's doing, and take notes from your people, and ask the others, those who are beginning to feel well, those who are feeling well, those who have got well, must let you know the details.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then that way you make your program more viable.
Yeah. I'll ask my last question, and it could be short here. Really just, I mean, first off, I appreciate everything you've shared thus far. It's extremely valuable, and I
No
hope people can
notes.
take.
No notes.
Yeah.
You
Exactly.
see? No notes.
Yeah. The last thing is just what would you so I'm 19 years old right now. I see a lot of kids my age. They're let's say they're not really focused on their health, right? They're drinking a lot.
I have the word for you.
Okay, tell me.
Wayward.
Wayward. Yeah.
Yes. It's a nice word. It's not a word that can cause an argument. It'll cause questions. What do you mean? Then you would say, well, I can tell you, but you don't even want the answer. So they say, no, tell me. So, well, you'll get angry if I tell you. Oh, no, I promise I won't. So you swear to God? They'll say, yeah, I swear to God. And you said, you're drinking. Ah, blah, blah. And right away now they're going to argue with you, yet they've sworn to God. Waywardness has no bounds, no limitations, no constraints. It's a loss of purity. So people who are wayward, I advise you strongly, avoid their company. You know why?
Yeah.
Show me your company, I'll tell you what you are. Birds of a feather flock together. You can't run with the sheep and run with the wolves.
Yeah. Very wise words.
So next time you want me again, let me know in a month's time.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it so much. Yeah, so Master Lowe, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really appreciate it. And I hope people can take a lot away from this, and I'm sure they have.
Here's what you're going to take away.
Yeah.
Pax vobiscum. It's Latin for peace be with you.
Thank you for joining me in today's episode with Master Lowe. This was a really special episode for me, and as Master Lowe mentioned in the very end, I hope to do another follow-up episode with him where we dive even deeper into the topics that we discussed today. With that being said, I really appreciate all of you guys supporting me on this journey, and I hope that these podcasts can bring some value to you and your family and your loved ones around you. Stay tuned for future episodes, and again, keep questioning, stay curious, and take steps towards a healthier life. Thank you for listening.